And we'll get started.
Okay, great.
Welcome, everybody, to the Women's Health and Fertility Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest and a dear friend, Alexa Rogers. Alexa is a yoga instructor, a guided meditation provider, a sound healer devoted to creating nourishing spaces of safety and deep connection. With a voice known for its calm, nurturing cadence and a gift for weaving vivid imagery, Alexa's guided meditations are both grounding and expansive, helping participants drop into stillness and awaken a profound sense of presence. Her work is rooted in the belief that meditation is a homecoming, a way to return to the present moment and find reverence for the beauty of simply being. Alexa offers in-person sessions throughout Southern California and works with clients around the world via Zoom, holding space for those seeking deeper alignment, clarity, and soulful connection on their healing path. Well, welcome, Alexa, to our podcast. I am so excited to have you on today. And I just kind of want to speak personally my experiences with you. And I have had
Mhm.
you at my center at Revive Chi for a number of events, and it's been incredible. Whether
Oh,
it's
thank you.
yes, you're welcome. Whether it's in combination with acupuncture, community
Hmm.
acupuncture, or other events that we've held, it has always been such a beautiful event and so empowering for my patients and even my staff that are
Oh,
around during the event are like, gosh, Alexa's sound and meditation is like next level. And I've even had
thank
patients,
you.
you're welcome. I've even had patients tell me, like, I have never experienced a sound bath like this before.
Oh,
And
wow. That's
so,
high marks, especially from your clients. So thank you for sharing that. I'll
oh, for
take it, put it in
sure.
my pocket, but I'm just a vessel, just here to deliver. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you are a vessel that delivers beautifully, I'll have to say.
Thank you.
But there's so many questions I have for you, but I would love to just get a little bit of background on yourself, how you got into sound healing and yoga therapy, and what brought you here to this
Yeah.
place.
Well, I did yoga in high school, so it travels back decades, if that doesn't age me. But I did yoga in high school as a dancer growing up, so it was just a natural progression as
Hmm.
part of our training. We did yoga once or twice a week, and then I kind of forgot about it for at least a decade, and then got in a car accident in 2016. Nothing major, but just some really bad whiplash. Car
Hmm.
was totaled, but everyone walked away fine, and just the lingering side effects of the whiplash and like the neck just was in so much pain. I couldn't do any normal gym workouts. So I
Hmm.
found yoga to be a really great space where I felt like I was getting that workout, specifically in hot yoga. I was getting to sweat. And then I also was able to move my body, and I rediscovered my love of movement and the healing capacity for it, and was really able to strengthen my upper body once again while also preventing injury.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just, fell in love with it so much that I took a yoga training here in Newport and loved teaching, was maybe teaching once a month to start. I was in a corporate job for 12 years. So I started teaching once a month, super random and rare, but just to kind of as a side passion project. And then I had a couple of friends who lived in Bali, and they were moving back to the States. So they said, if you ever want to come have a free place to stay here in Bali, now's your chance before we leave. So I flew out to Bali, booked another yoga training because I said, if I'm going to fly 30 hours,
Yeah.
I'm going to make it worth it.
What an
So I did,
opportunity.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
stars aligned. The universe
Mhm.
literally delivered it on a silver platter. So I'm not
Nice.
one to say no. But it was great. I went out there, did a three. So you start with a 200-hour training to be able to teach yoga. From there, you're fine. If you want to move deeper, you can go into an additional 300-hour training, which is what I did out in Bali. And that transformed my life. I was like, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. It dove deeper into the philosophy behind yoga, which, as I'm sure you know, the asanas, the postures, are just one
Mhm.
of the 8 limbs of yoga. Ultimately, the whole goal of those postures is to help you find more comfort as you sit in stillness, to reconnect within, to source, allowing you to meditate or pray longer, whatever you practice. So, just to help you find comfort within your vessel, in your body through
Mhm.
those movements. And that really opened everything up for me. I was like, oh, wow, I really want to share this with as many people as possible. I want to dive even deeper into my practice and the philosophy. And when I got home, I started teaching more frequently. And then I guess it was just kind of a natural progression to sound healing. I had been to one or two sound baths, and it's just so relaxing and feels so magical. But each sound bath was such a different experience. I was really curious about how they were so different when they
Mhm.
seemingly were about the same structure.
Sure.
Um, but it really is such an individual experience, and
Hmm.
it gives you what you need in that moment. So I met with a friend, Nikki, who's here in Orange County. She's incredible. She also does yoga and sound, and she also does breath work. Um, and she was kind enough to just give me the basics. She does some sound healing, and she was like, "You don't need to be perfect to start. It's more of an intuitive art, and
Hmm.
just start practicing." So I started doing it at the end of yoga classes I was already teaching, and then went to a lot more sound baths to kind of see what resonated with my style, what I liked from certain practitioners, what maybe wasn't my style that I could leave behind, not bother, and just really hone and focus on what resonated best with me delivering sound healing. So it's a really long answer to your question, but
No,
it
it's
just
it's
developed
perfect.
kind of naturally over time. And then, meditation came along with that. I just love being able to like lead people on a journey through their own subconscious mind to
Mhm.
hopefully move past blocks, or at the very least create a deeper sense of calm and inner peace.
I love that. Well, so let's
Yeah,
take a few steps back and
sure.
let me ask you some like basic questions for
Yeah.
those listeners that may have never experienced a sound bath or sound healing. How would you describe it or define a sound bath?
Well, there's no water involved. That's a common
Yeah,
misconception. If
I
you've
bet.
never
I
had one,
bet.
never seen a photo or a video, and you're like, what is this girl talking about? No
Hmm.
water involved. You're
Hmm.
laying down or seated. You can actually be in any position you'd like. Most common, you're lying down so that the vibrations of the bowls can kind of wash over you evenly. But there's no right or wrong way to receive sound healing, which is one of the beauty of it. Um, so it's those big crystal bowls, in case you're just listening and you're not here on video. I don't have one up here, unfortunately, but it's like a big crystal bowl, and there's a mallet that you gently either tap or just draw a circle around, and it creates a resonant frequency. So it's almost like a massage on a
Mm.
cellular level. So each bowl resonates at a certain hertz, a frequency of sound, and each one aligns. I have seven bowls. There's tons of bowls, but I have seven, one that specifically aligns with each of the seven chakras or energy centers in the body. So as you play the bowl, you'll hear the sound sometimes, as you know, Tina, going from ear to ear
Hmm.
in binaural beats, which just activates both hemispheres of your brain and really gives you that deep relaxation with as little effort as possible. So it drops you into the parasympathetic, that state of rest, digest, restore, like the opposite of fight or flight, by
Hmm.
simply laying there and allowing yourself to be open and receive.
That's the perfect description. And how long is the typical sound bath, or what is the typical time that's needed for somebody to actually drop into that state? I'm sure it's different for everybody.
Yeah,
With your
it's different for
experience.
everyone. I would say a minimum, if you haven't done, I my favorite package that I like to deliver is like a little gentle stretching to really get the body through some asanas, postures comfortable, so that you can rest in stillness. And then I also like to do like a 10-minute meditation just to like really open the mind, relax it, and then into 20-30 minutes of sound. But I
Mhm.
would say 20-30 minutes of sound alone would be the minimum, just to really feel all the deep healing benefits. But if you have 5 minutes at the end of a yoga practice, that's better than nothing.
Sure.
But I would say like a 20-minute, 30-minute minimum. And then I would say most sound baths that you attend are around 30 minutes of sound up to an hour, sometimes 75 minutes. Because it's not just bowls, there's chimes, there's
Hmm.
drums, there's rain sticks, there's so many different collaborative instruments that you can bring in to really make it a dynamic sound healing.
Right. So it's like an ensemble of instruments that can be
Yeah,
used during the sound bath.
yeah, exactly. I
That's
look like a
incredible.
traveling circus, as you see when I come over to yours. I got
Well, I
all of
know
them.
that there's always purpose for each instrument that's being used in a sound
Yeah,
bath, and I
yeah,
think the sound healing artists really have this kind of intuitive prescription of things that they want to play. And
hmm
having the privilege of being at a few of your sound baths, I can tell that there's a methodology behind all of it too. Of course, there's
yeah,
intuition in terms of
yeah.
playing, but there's also some methodology in it too.
hmm
And I'm so interested to learn a little bit more about yoga therapy. And I feel like yoga is probably a little bit more popular or well known than sound healing.
Definitely.
But would love for you to talk a little bit more about the benefits of yoga and yoga healing or yoga therapy.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest problems that people face today is being sedentary, being stagnant, being still. And there are so many benefits to being still. I probably shouldn't use that word here because we do want to focus on moving towards being comfortable in stillness, but not staying stagnant and sedentary. So many of us sit at our desk all day long and lose
Hmm.
track of time seated. Someone might be sitting for 2, 3 hours before they even get up, stand, walk around a little bit, which is just so bad on the body, the joints, the nervous system, especially since a lot of that time is spent staring at a screen. So yoga is a way to really like get into the muscles, the joints, help you age gracefully. It's less about a workout or a sweat or trying to burn calories. It's more about taking care of this vessel, this body that gives you the privilege of life on the planet. So, the best way to take care of it is through movement that feels good. Um, everyone has a different perspective, but I personally, in my teaching style, want everything to feel good, a stretch and never strain. It should sometimes push you, expand your comfort zone, but never past it, never a point where you're like in pain in the movement. Everything I teach, I want to feel comfortable. I want you to expand
Mm.
your comfort zone, expand what you're able to do and move through. And it's less about everyone thinks, oh, I just need to be good at stretching. I need to be flexible. Yoga is actually a unity of strength and flexibility. So some clients are actually hyper extended, they're over flexible, which can create tension and strain on their joints. So it's finding that balance of strengthening the muscles in certain areas, which might actually take away flexibility. It might make you not able to do a full split or something crazy. But the goal is to get your body comfortable, to ease the joints, to reduce pain and inflammation in the body so that you're able to age gracefully, age with independence as well, building a solid stability in your core section so that when you're growing older and older and maybe ending up in a nursing home one day, you have a lot more independence in your body. So
Hmm.
that's my goal whenever I have a client. I want them to be independent as long as possible. And then, there's endless, I could go on and on. I won't bore you all day, but there's so many benefits just in how your brain ages as well, because you're using both sides of your body, your right and left. You're activating both
Hmm.
hemispheres, which can even decrease the chances of Alzheimer's in the brain, which is, there's so many miracles from yoga. It's my favorite.
Everybody can use some yoga in their life.
Yeah. And
And
and even if you think, "Oh, I could never do it," there's no person on this planet, I would like to say, that can't do some form of yoga. It might look
Mhm.
different for your body. Every body is different. But I don't want anyone to be afraid of yoga because they're not flexible or they feel like their body isn't right for it. I think it's vital for every person on the planet.
Well, I love the way you described how it is a combination of strength and flexibility.
hmm
And when I think about movement activities like yoga, because of the nature of Chinese medicine, we always look at everything in the perspective of yin and yang. And to me,
Perfect.
yeah, yoga is much more
Yeah.
yin movement,
Yeah.
sort of like Qigong and Tai Chi,
hmm
versus like HIIT exercises and spin and, kickboxing and running.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that we live in a society and a culture, at least in Southern California, where there is a lot of yang who
A
are
lot.
right,
And
right.
even in the yoga space, it's been so
Hmm.
westernized that there's so many power sculpt yoga classes, which
Hmm.
are great and beautiful. But that is just a different form. There's just so much night and day. And like you said, I love the yin aspect of yoga, the beauty in slowing down and really reconnecting with your body. And the biggest change I've noticed in my own personal body has been by my own practice of yin yoga. You're doing like 5 poses total in 75 minutes. You're holding a pose for 5 minutes, and it's wild how like actual fat has just melted off my body because I've felt it's regulating your nervous system, dropping your cortisol, so your body's not feeling in this fight or flight mode that I need to
Hmm.
hold on. I can actually rest and relax. I can release the weight I've been carrying that I don't need. And there's so much, I think, in today's society, like you were saying, I need to push, I need to go, I need to rush, I
Yes.
need to move forward, I need to go fast.
Hmm.
And I just like to counter that, play devil's advocate, and say, what if you slowed down? What if you softened? What if you just tried it? You can always go faster if it doesn't work for you.
Well,
But what
and
if you
it's a
just try
balance of yin
it?
and yang. So you can
Exactly.
absolutely still have some of your yang
Yeah.
activities, but you have to balance some of the yin, the quiescence, the quiet, the
Hmm.
stillness, the slower movements to nourish your body. And just like you said about,
Yeah.
your nervous system and your adrenals need a break too. And
Big break.
being right, a big break, being able to get out of that survival fight or flight mode and really
Yeah.
feeling safe. And I think it's
Mhm.
when your body feels safe that it can really thrive,
Yeah. Perfect.
grow,
Couldn't have
and
said it better.
develop, right? And so yoga
Yeah.
is such a great gateway to that and
Hmm.
such a wonderful reminder because you are, in the state of just being present and aware of your body. Like you can't escape, when you're in yoga, you are
No.
very aware of everything.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say 10, 15 years ago, I would struggle through a yoga class. Like
Oh yeah.
60 minutes of yoga was like painful for me
Mhm.
because I
Yeah.
was so used to the hits type of classes and like the boot camps and the kickboxing and all those types of things.
Hmm.
And you probably can't tell this about me now because I'm older, but I have a very young nature naturally. And
I I I disagree with you. I think you seem very young. I can tell immediately. So
yeah, well, the yang nature was very inherent in me. I had to work it
yeah.
in and work really hard at
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
now that I'm older, in my 50s, actually, I really enjoy the restorative yoga. I love like the
My
walks
favorite.
on the beach. Like it's so important to balance the two out. And
Yeah.
I tell my patients this all the time. Like, don't forget about nourishing yourself, rejuvenation,
Yeah.
and the inside. And
Hmm.
um, we have plenty of time for yang. We're already doing that on a day to day. So make
Yeah. Just in
time
your
for the
normal
yin.
daily life. Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Perfect.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
so how do you inspire your clients and your students to continue to sort of keep this balance of restoration as well as productivity? Because I feel like as Americans, we're always like, oh, we need to be productive and we need to, excel at all these things.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
curious, you probably see so many people in so many varieties of lifestyles. So I'm just curious, is
Hmm.
there anything in particular that you find helpful for those folks that maybe are struggling to find that balance?
Yeah, I feel like people have plenty of productivity. There's very few people I've come across who are struggling to do more. They're like, I've yet to meet someone who's actually genuinely just lazy and not doing anything and too relaxed. So
Right.
I think, you can release the expectation of if I rest, I'm lazy. One thing I've been saying a lot in my classes lately is if we just take a little inspiration from the trees, it's winter time still, even though we changed years. It's still winter. We're still in the middle of a season of letting go, releasing, and we're still, as you know, in the year of the snake in the Chinese calendar. So
Mhm.
still in that shedding, releasing. So if we look at the trees, most of them are still bare. I know we're in California, so it's kind of cheating because we don't have real seasons here, but there are still a
Sure.
lot of bare trees.
Hmm.
And what often looks like emptiness, or what maybe as humans we might call laziness, what you're not growing new leaves, they're actually sending all their energy, they're conserving and sending the energy down to the roots. So they can build a solid foundation so that come spring, when there's more light and more energy and more forward motion and movement, then they can flourish up and out. But it is that cyclical balance. So I recommend to my students, follow a flow of nature. If you feel really out of alignment, if it feels unnatural, that's because we are part of nature. So
Hmm.
really focusing, I kind of like to follow that flow of nature. I have more energy in the summer, but starting to slow down so you can listen to your body. Your body knows a lot more than we give it credit. It is, like a tree, part of nature. So as you slow down, as you continue your practice, it's pretty easy for people to want to do more because they start to get that little tiny inch expansion of space in the mind, in the body, a little more relaxation, a little more space to listen to those cues that often we're too busy to even hear. Um, so I think it's actually, I haven't had to like really grapple with much of that because the more people show up, the more it almost becomes addictive. You're like now really seeking, wanting that structure, that balance to all of the chaos outside the world, outside the room. Just giving yourself that gift of, even if it's just 1 hour a day or even a couple hours a week, just starting slow, build the habit. And then your body will naturally want to show up for that and create the space. And like, you can't fill from an empty cup. It's an overused phrase, but it's overused for a reason. You have to
Hmm.
give back to yourself, refill your own cup energetically. So that once you step off the mat, everything you face is like, okay, I can handle this
I
because I
got
took care
this.
of me first. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got this. Even if it seems
Hmm.
overwhelming and there's, you don't know which way to turn or what to do for the problem or situation or scenario you're dealing with, you've taken the time to slow down, breathe, and then move forward.
Yeah, and I love what you said about we are part of nature
Mm-hmm.
and we are one and just like the tree. And question for you, of course, because I'm a women's health specialist, I always
Yeah.
think about the moon cycle too. So kind of making
Mm-hmm.
it a little bit more granular from, just the seasons. What
Yep.
what are your thoughts on that for women?
Oh, gosh, if we could get one more month a year, have 13 months, each month would have 28 days and it would follow the moon cycle. It drives me crazy. To know me is to know how much I wish we had a 13th month in the calendar, which we
Hmm.
used to have. But as women, we, as you know, are mostly on a 28-day cycle. It varies here and there. But if you follow the moon, it's also on a 28-day cycle. And I am not one to believe in coincidences. So if you know, and it's actually common scientific, if you watch, your sleep pattern might be a little more disrupted around a full moon.
Hmm.
And if you notice that the moon is controlling the tides of the ocean, and we're made of 70% water, it'd be a little weird if the moon had zero effect on us as human beings.
Sure.
So, kind of, I mean, it's just you find a practice that resonates with you. On a full moon, you can really create and kind of move forward and release what's been holding you back or what no longer serves. And then on a new moon, as you move into darkness, um, you can really create like new intentions for that next season. So I like to use the new moon, full moon, just because they're easiest every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I'll even host a sound bath on the new moon, full moon, just to really harness the energy as much as possible. But yeah, it's like, as women, our hormone cycle goes on a 28-day cycle, whereas a man is, I think it's 24 hours or so.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
he follows the solar, we follow the lunar. So the more we can kind of just like, sure, it seems woo woo, but there's actually a lot of science behind it. And as with everything, do a little research on what resonates with you, pull, keep it, and leave everything else behind. So if you're researching something, you're like, I don't know about that, leave it, move on. But
Right.
the more I've dug into the moon cycle and that our hormone cycle is also 28 days, the more I'm like, that's quite a big coincidence.
It's very interesting. Yeah, the
Yeah.
parallels. And when I think about hormonally too, because I do so much work in fertility and we're constantly tracking
Oh, yeah.
cycles, follicular phase, ovulation phase, luteal phase. I think
Hmm.
about, the different hormone levels throughout each phase of our cycle. And so I always think about, gosh, we really got to do our best work in the follicular phase when our estrogen is
Yeah.
starting to rise. And like,
And
that's
I've
when
got
we're
so
going
much
to
energy and I just want to
that's
do, do,
right. We're
do.
going to create, we're going to do all these awesome things and really give yourself the grace to rest as we get into that luteal phase, that premenstrual phase, and even
Oh,
like
yeah.
during our period.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think about that a lot. And even when we work out, wouldn't you agree too, Alexa, when you're thinking about
Absolutely.
timing of workouts
Hmm.
and, allowing your body to go with its natural rhythm?
Yeah. Yeah. And the more you connect into what feels good, and there is a fine line between what feels good genuinely and what you're just like, I don't want to do it. You do have to be careful about what luteal, your little luteal lady might be saying. So if you're like, I don't want to go to yoga,
For sure. You mean when
but
PMS takes over and you're
yeah,
like, no, I don't want to
exactly.
do anything. I just want
Yeah.
to eat ice cream.
Hey, I feel you. And there is a time and a place for that too. It's
Mhm.
all about balance. But yeah, get into a yin class, especially in the luteal phase. There's so much magic behind luteal too. I feel like we're actually really intuitive during that time and, maybe a little less inhibited by niceties.
So true.
So,
Yeah, we're kind of
yeah,
more
so
of
we
like
might
our
be
authentic self.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
so lean into that, go to a yin, go to a sound bath, really nourish yourself and like lean into that cozy feeling because I mean, I do that all month long, but especially during luteal.
That's great advice. That's perfect
Yeah.
advice.
Mm.
So I just love the way you weave everything together. You weave the stretching, the movement, the yoga with meditation and sound. Is there anything in particular about meditation? And even if it's as a standalone, because I know sometimes people have a limited time,
Yeah.
like maybe they're trying to create sort of like a routine in the morning where they're okay, I'm going to try to meditate every day, or I'm going
Yeah.
to try to do a little bit of yoga. Um,
Hmm.
is there any recommendations you have for patients on the meditation front? Um,
Yes. Yeah. Every day. If you can, every day. And I'm, you know, almost every day. I try every day. And then some days I go, oh no, I didn't meditate yesterday. But I have a reminder on my phone every day. You can set a reminder on your phone. That's what's worked best for me is meditate. And then if you set a reminder as opposed to a calendar item, it'll stay on your phone screen until you physically mark it as complete. So that
mhm.
way for me, it's like in my face until I do
Yes.
it. And sometimes meditations are glorious. I love them. They're so nourishing. But 90% of the time I don't enjoy it. Meditation is like often the worst part of my day because I'm sitting there. You really have to confront, oh, I don't want to sit here. Oh, my to-do list. Oh, I have to do that. Oh, I need to be present. Okay. Oh no, I wasn't being you become really the witness of all those thoughts. They're always happening,
Mhm.
but your body is still. So you can't do anything but listen to them. Guided meditation is my favorite. I'm not a big every once in a while I'll meditate just sitting there in silence, but I love a guided meditation. I want someone to take me down a path, reach around the corner of my subconscious mind, see what's over there, see what I can rewire. And the open app has been my favorite. They have
Oh,
nice
yeah.
short meditations.
Mhm.
So I release expectation of how long it needs to be.
Right.
I would say 5 minutes just so you actually have time to sit there. I say everyone has 5 minutes. So 5 minute minimum. Sometimes I'll challenge myself and for a month I'll say I'll do it 30 minutes a day.
Mhm.
But find what works for you. Creating the habit, I think, is more important than anything. So 5 minutes every day, and then you can build from there. But the open meditation app is like an annual subscription, and I love a lot of the voices on there. That's also a challenge. Sometimes you'll find a voice and you're like, I
That doesn't
can't
resonate
focus
with
at all. I
me.
hate this
Yeah.
voice.
Nice.
So
Thank you for
just
that.
leave that
Yeah.
behind, move forward to another one. But that's my favorite app. And then I also use To Be Magnetic, which is a great online platform that does a lot of deep self hypnosis. And they have a lot of great inner child work. And I've done a lot of their programs and I absolutely love them. I think they're really great and wonderful. And really help heal and reprogram and restructure your brain from the inside out based on what you want in life, like authentically getting you to your most magnetic self. So
I love
those
that.
two are probably be my favorites.
Thank you for sharing those resources. I'll definitely
Mm-hmm.
include them in the show notes.
Oh yeah, I'll send you the link so you can send them in there.
Thank you, Alexis. So,
Mm-hmm.
so what are some of the top, maybe 3 to 5 benefits of meditation?
Oh, top 3 to 5. Let's see. Number one, inner peace. Because
That's a
if
good
that's
one.
the hardest part of your day, and you're just sitting there still, like, let's be honest, it's really not that hard. But to confront yourself, to meet yourself deeply, and to push past any of those mental constraints, physical constraints to simply be, I think that's where the deep inner peace comes from, is like knowing yourself, seeing yourself, and moving forward in like a grounded state with a little more ease. Um, and then besides that, I think lowering stress is, I guess that's similar to inner peace, but lowering your stress because you have time to sit. You're saying, no, I'm the most important thing here today. Everything else can wait because I prioritize me.
Hmm.
And then third, I think that just leads to self trust. You're building resilience and self trust because you're showing up for you, which in turn will just have a ripple effect of everyone else showing up the same way you show up for you, creating your boundaries, creating exactly how you want to be seen by treating yourself that way first.
That's perfect. Those are great, the great benefits description
Oh,
of the
good,
top 3 things.
good. Oh,
And I really appreciate how you explained that meditation, not to be fixated on timing, and because I think there's a lot of judgment that
yeah,
comes into our minds when we're trying to meditate and, try to kind of like find that place of peace for ourselves. And our ego kind of comes in and says like, okay, you need to sit a certain way, you need to be breathing a certain way, and it should
yeah,
be like an hour, but
yeah.
I think that's perfect how you said, even if it's 5 minutes, consistency
Mm-hmm.
weighs more than the time, the
Yeah.
total duration of it, because it could still be so impactful,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
love
there's
that.
even walking meditation,
Yeah.
there's seated meditation with your eyes open.
Mhm.
I don't believe in creating too much structure around anything. I think, start however you can. And then as you continue your practice, you'll find what provides the most benefit to you. And then allow diversity. We are multifaceted human beings. So some days something works for us. The next day, that same thing might be the complete opposite of what we need or what works. But just the focus of finding stillness to really like connect in with yourself and with source and with all of it, even if it's just 5 minutes walking around, but like time for you, no distractions. Like maybe if you take that 5 minute walk, it's without your phone. Or if you have your phone because you're listening to a meditation, it's on do not disturb. Like really
Mhm.
creating this structure to like give back to yourself. Because I think, especially in today's society, we're always giving, giving, giving lots of output, that it's
Mhm.
important to slow down and take the input to reset.
Sure. Yeah, we got to balance the giving and receiving
Mm-hmm.
equation,
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
there's definitely
Exactly.
a lot of the giving.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as, I mean, the meditation resources are great. What about for yoga? If somebody is out of the area, is there a place that you can go to find like yoga centers or places, or even like private yoga therapy practitioners, things like that? Do you have a resource like that?
Yeah, I get a lot of clients off of a website called Thumbtack. I guess
Mhm.
it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever heard of TaskRabbit, but for everything under the sun. So if you just go on there and search, sound healer or meditation or yoga, and you can even read reviews about individual practitioners.
Mhm.
And then ClassPass is great too. I
Yes.
love ClassPass because you can try all these different studios,
And
try
that's a
all these different
national thing, right,
instructors. Yeah,
Alexa?
it's international. I've even tried it in other
Oh,
countries, which is
okay.
great because you have this one subscription and you can use it around the world. So I've loved ClassPass just because of that extra privilege of being able to do it when you travel. So if you travel a lot, that's a great one to use. And
Hmm.
then you're also not stuck to one studio. So sometimes you might try a studio and you're like, okay, well, I like that one teacher, that one class, but to pay a monthly unlimited might be unrealistic for you. So rather than having your practice just disappear, you can pop in on classes. You can go to that one studio and then you can go to a studio down the street for this other instructor that you like. But I would focus on finding an instructor that you resonate with, and then the space will cultivate around them. I would focus
Sure.
less on I like that space and more on the instructor because that's where the real medicine comes in. And then if you're home and like don't want to leave your house, you can go on YouTube. I love yoga with Cassandra with a K.
Me too.
I'm obsessed with her. I love
I love
her.
her too.
She is just so calming. She's no fluff, which I love. I get a lot of my restorative yoga teaching inspiration from her. And then my own self practice. If I'm at home, I usually end up watching the Yoga with Cassandra video. I love her. And she's been
I,
around forever. She's like one of
she
the OG
has.
YouTubers. Yeah,
Well, I found her
she's so
during
great.
I love that you actually validated for me that I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh,
I'm
I'm
so
doing
glad.
something right."
Yeah. No,
I-
so right. She's really talented.
Oh, that's good to know. And I found her just during COVID, when everything
Oh,
was
incredible.
closed and locked down. I'm
Hmm.
like looking, searching for things online.
Yeah.
And then I came across her. I had gone through a couple of other teachers and they didn't quite resonate with me. But then
Hmm.
Cassandra was so like relaxing
Yes.
and just really calming. And she had all the different vignettes of like 10-minute yoga to like an
Everything.
hour. So
Yeah. Anything you need, she's got it covered. I'm like, this girl, she's really figured it out. She's doing well.
that's wonderful. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your practice and what's available for your clients. How do people get in touch with you? And if they want to work with you, whether it's locally or through Zoom, um, what does the Zoom classes look like, I guess?
Zoom is traditionally either meditation or yoga nidra, which is basically guided meditation. It's just a very specific type of more of like a body awareness dropping into subconscious. So just a very specific script structure, but it's basically guided meditation. So I don't do much sound healing over Zoom just because the sound doesn't quite transfer right.
Very the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are just so many more benefits to doing it in person. So if
Mhm.
it's sound healing, you can reach out to me on Instagram is probably the easiest way to connect. And then we can just set up a session, whether it's Zoom or in person. And I either go to clients or I have a little space I can rent nearby that they can come to. And then in person, yeah, in person, reach out both Zoom or in person. I think
Okay.
Instagram is
And
probably the easiest
also,
way to find me.
perfect. I will include that in our show notes for sure, Alexa. What if somebody wanted to do like private sessions with you? Is that
That's
also still
that's like
available?
over half of my clientele now. So
Oh,
I
okay.
teach yoga in person. I think I have like 30 participants per class. I teach a heated vinyasa and then a restorative.
And
And
where is
then
this that you're teaching at?
it's at Club Studio in Irvine. So it's
Okay,
a
wonderful.
nice little gym, but it's a great yoga space that they have inside the gym. And then I host monthly events, which are my favorite. It's the combination of some gentle restorative yoga leading into a little guided meditation into a nice long sound bath. So I post those on Instagram. I think the next one will probably be on February 22nd. I'm
Okay.
just looking for a space big enough to hold it because usually there's like
Hmm.
40 to 50 people there.
Oh yeah, you're
And
popular. Hmm.
it's so fun too because it's such a fun community of people that everyone just wants to get there and relax and better themselves. Like what
Yes.
how that's magic in the room. I'm just there witnessing everyone like walk out all zen and it's just it's so nice to see that many humans wanting to find a little more peace for themselves to share it with
Mhm.
others. Just lights me up. Um I think did I answer your question?
I think so. Yes. I
Okay,
just kind
great.
of wanted like all the different variations of how people can work for
Oh
you.
yeah, perfect.
And just for those listeners that are local in Southern California, LA, San Diego, if you can
Hmm.
meet Alexa in person,
Oh,
it's
thank you.
worth it for
Thank
sure.
you. And then I
So,
do have a little yang side to what I teach. I teach
Mhm.
Legree. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I
Yes.
teach that in Costa Mesa at a place called Breeze. And I actually teach that the most out of everything I teach. I teach that the most, which is so crazy to me because it is the complete opposite of restorative yoga. Like I have a mic on, I'm running around the room. It's 45 minutes of very high intensity movement and workout, but it's low impact. So
Hmm.
it's like strength training on a machine that moves like a Pilates reformer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm obsessed with it. It's because it's so good, especially for us as women, to do strength training. And like I said, with my neck injury, I could just never do anything in the gym without risking injury. Sometimes it would be fine, but I was always so afraid because anytime I lift my arms too high, my neck would flare up.
Right, right.
But Legree has, built so much strength and stability in my whole body. And now I actually feel like really strong.
I love that.
So I teach that several times a week and I
Okay. So
absolutely
that
love it.
is
So
your
it's like
yang
the balance
aspect.
of,
Yeah.
yeah, you come to Legree and then we'll go do a sound bath
That
after.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You
I love it.
you got to do those events together. If you ever combine and hybrid that together,
Right?
do like a
That's
yin
such a
and
good
yang
idea.
event.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You're coming. We'll plan it.
For sure. Sign me up. Um,
Amazing.
if you had one last note, comment, or piece of wisdom and or advice to share, what would that be for listeners that are trying, whether they're kind of in the beginning aspects of their journey into wellness or they've been on that path for a while? Any advice that you would give to folks about how to slow down and how to be more present in their lives?
Yeah, I think just remembering that it's all already inside you. We're not lacking any wisdom. I think what we're lacking most today is stillness. So allowing us to slow down, to be still, to be quiet, um, so that we can reconnect with our intuition and the space required to hear it. So it's not that you're disconnected from self, but maybe that you just need a little more space to hear that inner voice, that inner wisdom, to build that self trust. And that I don't believe any person is broken. I think a lot of us are just overwhelmed, exhausted, and operating far from our natural rhythm. So by creating a little more space in your day, in your life, in your routine for you, that's how you can reach into that inner sanctuary within.
That's beautifully said. Thank you,
Mm,
Alexa.
thank you.
And I really appreciate you being on my podcast today and
Thank you for
sharing.
having me. This is
You're
so fun.
welcome and sharing so much great knowledge and advice and like tips that are so easy to implement. And I think that even though it's for those that have been practicing for a long time, it seems so easy. For some folks, it seems so overwhelming to even begin. But I think
Yeah,
you've made it very tangible, doable, and like achievable, where even if you're just starting with like 5 or 10 minutes of breath work
perfect.
or meditation.
Hmm.
So thank you so
Oh,
much
perfect.
for the
Thank you.
time.
A pleasure. A
I
pleasure and a
appreciate
privilege.
it. Thank you, Alexa.
Thank you.